Welcome, everybody. We had like so many RSVPs for this session, so I hope that more people do trickle in as time goes on. I'm Kristen Bedard. I'm one of the co-leads of PA Unplugged, and I'm here with my other co-lead, Alex Birdbecker. I'm located in a town called Swickley. It's outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I have two kids, 11 and 8. Alex, if you want to just do a quick intro.
Or yes, I'm in the Philadelphia area. I'm in Delaware County, the Wallingford-Swarthmore School District. I have two little ones, 5 and 2, and I'm excited to see you all here. Thanks so much for joining.
Yeah, great. So we'll get started, and I think if more people are able to come in, maybe once we get to Q&A, we'll leave time. I would love to have everybody just at the end just quickly introduce themselves, just so that we hopefully there'll be more people that get in here by that point. Anyways, we created this because this coalition started about a year ago unintentionally. Alex and I were both doing local efforts in our own towns and school districts, and we found each other, ironically, on an Instagram comment on a Jonathan Haidt post. And she sent a DM. We met later that day, and the rest is history. And so that is where this larger statewide effort came from. And probably in the early fall, we evolved our website to have this, like, it was easy to join us and sign up. And since then, we've had almost 200 people who have signed in to be advocates versus just a supporter. And so it got to the point where we wanted to create a space and a workshop, really just like a Zoom session where we could talk to you about many of you did indicate that you're interested in starting something in your local town or community. So that is the purpose of today, and also for us to talk to you about the coalition and really what our purpose is, what we do, and how we work, both with national groups and local groups, and where we fit in that whole hierarchy and ecosystem. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what it looks like to kick something off in your local community, and then Q&A. And we hope that you leave with, the momentum and energy and feeling like ready to go to start something in your school or town. And we're really happy that you're here. All right. So we want to talk about the coalition. We are all about technology that serves humanity. We are not anti-tech. We use tech all day long. My kids will tell you that I am the least unplugged person on the planet. And I think, and I say that as like a joke, but I also say that as like, this is the world we live in, and we recognize that. Um, I also think that we will say that, like, just because we run this coalition doesn't mean that anybody who is really actively engaged has like figured it out. No one's figured it out. And I think it's important to acknowledge that and to be vulnerable about that. A mom who's very involved in the coalition, on the east side of the state, she wrote to me this morning, "Well, I tried a dumb phone for 4 days and I gave up." So, I think it's important to acknowledge that, like, we just want technology that is serves humanity, is safe for kids, and that is not taking over our lives in really negative ways, and also then just making money off of us. And so I think our overall vision is we want this world where it serves humanity, culture, behaviors, and policy, and not for profit tech companies set the standard for how we live and connect. Um, which also might be like called 1998. So but we're still every year happens. And our mission really is that we want to restore this real world connection and build stronger communities, advocating for safe and intentional tech use. I think that a lot of the work we do is very much geared towards kids and what we can do to protect kids and minors, but ultimately we live in the same world and we all live in this world together. And so much of our own tech use transfers over to our families and to the youth that are living in the world with us. So that's an important piece there too. Our priorities. So as I said before, pushing back on big tech. And this is important because I think there is a lot of people don't realize that how much power they do have over us and in all of the products that we use in our daily lives. And even that mindset shift of like, this is a product, not necessarily this like amazing service, because so much of it is for free, but they are collecting our data and they are advertising and promoting things to us constantly. We want to set the standard for tech with intention and, of course, reclaim healthy childhood because It's not just about winding down screens, but it's also about what can we do to ensure that there are still really good options and replacements for families and kids and people when we do encourage people to move away from maybe that more screen-based lifestyle.
All right. So, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about our operating pillars, which we always say are homeschool community and Harrisburg. Um, if you've read The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, you're familiar with the term collective action and collective action problem. This is all a collective action problem, and not just when it comes to delaying the smartphone or delaying social media. Like when we're talking about larger issues about pervasive phone use, pervasive like tablet use in young childhood, ed tech, right? There, it's all of it is a collective action problem, and we all have to work together at home, in schools, in communities, and with our legislators for a cultural shift. Um, so I'll let Kristen talk a little bit, 'cause as the Penn State one, I think you need to
I made a
take
bad
over.
joke here. I know. She's like, I can't do it. So I was like, oh, haha, we are PA Unplugged. I went to Penn State. If you didn't, sorry, I made this joke. I'm not even a huge Nittany Lion fan, but whatever. So really the coalition is made up of not just parents. We are predominantly parents, but we're so fortunate that we have grandparents and we have educators and medical and mental health professionals and more. We really do say it's about the concerned Pennsylvania community. And we right now have 25 plus local groups. Like I said, 100 plus local leads. Those are people, like, and even beyond that, like people that have identified as being even an advocate. And we have people that are part or connected to the coalition in some way, shape, or form in over 27 counties. That said, I mean, we probably have like 50 people that are extremely, extremely engaged. But that energy is fantastic. So that is, and you can see the little map and everything of where we are. We're very heavy in Philadelphia and the Pittsburgh side, but that's how it works. And then we're slowly finding more people in Central PA. So where do we fit in? Okay, this is really important because we, um, when we started advocating for phone-free schools in February of 2025, more so on the Pittsburgh side, and then we connected with Alex, who was doing the same work on her side of the state. We then connected with Distraction Free Schools Policy Project. They are a fantastic national group, and they're very connected to smartphone-free childhood. So we have people, and we're friends with all these people at the Balance Project, at Mothers Against Media Addiction, and um, it's a great resource. They are our mentors. They inspire us, and it also gives great, when we need access to somebody like an Emily Cherkin or a Jared Cooney Horvath, they're thought leaders in the ed tech space. Um, it's really great for that. And we pass along as much as we can from those groups, but it's a lot to take in the fire hose of information and work that everybody's doing. So our weekly call, we try to highlight like the key things that are coming out of the national groups, but then they also do mentor us. So we are a state regional coalition, as you know. There are many coalitions or groups like us happening all across the state. Most of them have really started forming in the last 6 months because everybody recognized very quickly that local advocacy is fantastic and it has to happen. Federal policy changes maybe will happen someday, but no one's holding their breath. So we have to really take action at the state level. Um, and also what happens is local work is like I said, it's fantastic, but if you are really passionate about these issues, and if you're here today, you probably are, it is so great to connect with other people across the state that are doing this work in their communities, and we'll get to that in a second. This is a really bad image that we have on this slide, so just sorry that it's not great. But you'll see it just shows like all the groups that like the local PA groups. Now, this is important. These are not like chapters of PA Unplugged. A lot of them started out as wait until eighth groups. We have some that were Mothers Against Media Addiction, and then some were just homegrown groups that happened. Somebody read Jonathan Haidt's book and felt empowered to start something, and they came up with their own name. Our group is Strictly Unplugged. Alex, what's you can share your group, your
Oh,
local.
we have Delco Unplugged, and then we have like a really local school-based effort that's, that's just for our school. We have like a larger countywide thing. So it's really these groups take many different um, shapes or forms. Not to say they all sprouted out of Jonathan Haidt's book, but that is a common connection point. Um, and we are very we're very open to having a very diverse coalition, right? Like as Kristen said, like we have a balance project group in Lancaster, which is awesome. We have folks creating their own unplugged groups, which we love. But again, we're not a chapter organization, we're a coalition. And we're really excited about, meeting groups where they are. You know what is best for your local community, you know what your community is fired up about, and we just want to be here to support you.
Yep, great.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about what we offer. Um, The first is really where we'd love to be this hub for collective action, to use that term again. Um, Really hoping to provide infrastructure and connect local groups like the ones we've been talking about in order to amplify impact and support coordination and just make sure everyone feels strong and confident about making change. So I just want to, oh, hold on. So this quote at the top, this came from a current member of the coalition, um, who said, PA Unplugged is a community of people who see the same issues as I do. It's inspiring to be part of a productive group of people with different skill sets focused on such an important issue. And that really says it all. Like this, it really is. A community of folks to support, and lend that. Again, community is a really important term here. We really want people to feel supported, and like they have a space where they're not alone. So just as Kristen mentioned earlier, through the year, we typically have a weekly call, which is really a space to share ideas and wins and challenges, questions. We can learn from each other and inspire each other. We usually share information from that we get from national partners, other what's going on in other states. So those are typically Thursdays at 1. In the summer, we're going to be doing bi-weekly. And if you're part of our Google group, that's the local Lee's Google group. You'll get those calendar invitations automatically, as well as every so often alerts, like quick things to share with your community. We'll always share our newsletter with that group and ask you to pass it along to your local group. We also have this Google Drive of resources, which we're going to go through later, and make sure everyone knows where to access that and how you can access it and the wealth of items in there. I think sometimes we forget how much is in there. And then we also have this statewide WhatsApp group that's completely optional, and that's hosted through Smartphone Free Childhood. There are all kinds of there. I'm not sure that there are 50 state WhatsApp groups, but there are many, and Pennsylvania is one of them, and it's very active, and we have groups from all over the state in there. All right, Kristen, do you want to do this next one?
Yeah, sure. So, as I said earlier, like the reason this even all really happened and developed and came to be was because we wanted to be a unified voice for policy change. If any of you have tried to advocate for phone-free schools in your local district, maybe you got really lucky and it worked out. And we're talking like bell to bell, like the true policy that we know really works. However, most of us were not lucky, and so that's why we did start advocating at the state level with our local reps. And I think. We, in our earlier coalition call today, we just went over a whole overview of sort of what advocacy at Harrisburg and what, at the state level looks like for screens in schools. And it's a totally different playbook than what we did for phone-free schools, and we're super excited to start really working on that. But this advocacy is key. It also just, it's so important because we can't just talk to principals and superintendents and director of curriculum. We have to talk to the Department of Education. We have to, continue our relationship with the PSEA that we have, the teachers union. Um, and it's great to develop these relationships with local reps because they are not experts on these issues. And sometimes when we speak to them about phone-free schools, we're like, why do they not, like, what's going on? Like, why don't they care? They have to care about a lot of stuff. And so that's why, like, there is no other group doing the work of quote unquote, like concerned community parent advocacy work of like, we know we're in this all day long and we need to talk to you and educate you about this so that you can try to make change as well. And like we said here, we are viewed as like the parent advocate voice in the state, and we want to continue with that. So that is also where this like coming together. Oh, there was a whole slide here. Yeah. These are the
Sorry.
things that we're advocating for. So we're phone-free schools. We're like at the almost finish line, we hope. It's not also just about like stuff in schools and with kids, like I said. There's a lot happening with AI regulation for minors and adults just to keep everybody safe. This is a big priority for the governor. Deepfake AI imagery, resolution for screen time in schools, childhood independence. This is a big priority for the national group Let Grow, which is Lenore Skenazy's group. Just that the definition of neglect doesn't mean you let your 11-year-old walk to the grocery store to buy milk for you. And recess for all PA kids, and then also like PSSAs. There's a huge interest, and we're going to start working on this summer of doing like a larger push. Again, not necessarily with legislators, but at the state level to go back to a paper option. There is no requirement to be involved in any of our legislation work. We have local groups that stay local and they don't get super involved. But one of the beauty of how the coalition works though is this, like there's always people that are going to be more into like the like working on the policy stuff and people that want to do more community work, and that's why it's great for us all to come together. Um, but we want to continue to build the coalition and build our network so that we have people all over the state. So when the time does come where we need advocacy and people to email their reps and email their senators, that there are networks throughout the entire state to do that. And Alex, will show you this in a little bit. Like we make it really like the lowest activation energy possible. We make it very easy for people to do. It's just a few clicks and you send an email. And this is really interesting too, and I didn't know this 2 years ago, but it only takes like 10 people contacting a representative or any legislator for their staff to say, oh, this is an issue we need to start paying attention to. That is not that many people. I always thought it had to be like hundreds and hundreds, and it really isn't. It's a low amount of contact. So that like give and take of us building coalition and helping local groups with the hopes that when we do get to those moments of like, okay, we have to activate the state network, that comes into play. Um, I think that's kind of it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I wanted to go to this actually. Alex,
Yeah,
are you
I can
able
pull
to
it up.
go to the, okay, cool. So Alex, I always give her shout outs when I'm gonna give her more. This coalition would be absolutely nowhere without her because she is so talented at making our website amazing. She's all the back end behind the scenes for all of the tools that we have available. So I will never stop like thanking her. But we have our take action page on our website, and this is what I mean about making it so easy.
Should I switch to sharing this on our website?
Yeah, do
Okay.
you?
Yeah, I can
Okay,
pull it up now.
okay.
Thanks for the shout out. Okay.
Always giving you a shout out.
Okay. So yeah, we have right now, our Take Action page is kind of split into Phone Free Schools tab and an Ed Tech Screens in Schools tab, because these are kind of our these are the two issues that, we hear the most about. Obviously, our work started in the Phone Free School space. We've been moving into the Ed Tech space, but just kind of wanted to orient you to what's here. On the Phone Free Schools tab, we have kind of like an overall message about, we just went through the House vote. Obviously, it passed in the House, Senate House Bill 1814. So we do need to put a little update on our website that lets people know that that happened. But here's where we kind of directed people to go if they needed help figuring out, who their rep was or what action they could take, helpful talking points in case they kind of like need them while on the phone. Um, and I just want to show you the Ed Tech tab um, here, and I can show these now, Kristen, or we can
Yeah,
go back.
show them now, I think. Yeah.
So we kind of have these two big tools. We have a survey, we have a parent survey, and we also have an educator survey, which is actually not linked here, but we'll share that shortly. If you haven't taken it yet, we would love to have you take it. This is a survey about screen time and tech use in PA schools. This connects to a statewide dashboard. So if we actually go back, I can show you guys. This is the next link down. This is based on right now just over 1,700 survey responses across the whole state. So you can actually filter by district. So this is really honestly, we used this in my district. We did some local advocacy with my local group, asking for really more intentional technology use. Again, I'm in the Wallingford-Swarthmore School District. We already got a couple of concessions just a couple of weeks ago as it relates to technology use in the lower grades, and formation of an advisory council. And it sounds like they're going to be looking at even further changes this summer. So we're really thrilled. And one of the big levers that we used was our survey data from our district. So just for example, I'll just show you. I'm going to filter for my district. So we have 86 responses, and our district's pretty small. It's about 3,000 kids, but that's, 86 is not nothing. It's not nothing, anything to sneeze at. So I actually just downloaded this PDF and I brought it with me we brought it with me to the meetings. I passed it out so other parents could take a look at it. And it not only shows you kind of like the big statistics here, but it will show you like what the concerns are, broken down for the responses from your community. And it actually, this is kind of the best part, includes words from folks in your community, in their own words about what their concerns are, which was really impactful. So just wanted to kind of shout that out. We have an educator survey as well. Really, really value teacher perspectives in this conversation, and really wanted to learn from teachers. So we just launched that, I think, earlier this month. We're hoping to publish a similar dashboard, once we hit a critical mass of responses. So really excited. I also just want to quickly talk about maybe I should stop because I feel like it's been a lot. Should I talk about the advocacy guide now as well, Kristen? This is probably the third
Um,
thing.
Can I ask a question before you move on?
yeah, totally.
Can you go back to the main screen for PA Unplugged and show me the links of where you would find that survey again? I know I could do it, but since we're
Yes.
okay, take
Yes.
action,
Take action, ed
ed
tech.
tech
It would be Action Center. You can find them in a
Or
couple
a tech
places.
survey too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's either
Okay.
link.
Uh,
They're linked in this top navigation, but they're also in the Action Center. So thank you,
okay,
Lee,
I got it.
for calling that out. There's a couple different ways to access it.
So
But
one of the questions I saw that for the survey was about what school your students, is that survey also able to be done by people who do not have kids in the school, but just citizens of the district? Or is it all for parents of children in the schools,
this survey is designed for parents and caregivers
of kids in the public school?
of kids or kids in any school. It's really for
Oh, any
anyone
school.
with
Okay.
a school age child.
So
Yeah.
if I wanted to fill one out because I have no children in the local school, then I really wouldn't be able to use this survey, correct?
Well, you can use it like you're
I
able
mean,
to
I
go to
can
the
use
dash.
it, but I can't fill it out because I have no
No,
children.
yeah, because you don't have kids. You don't have like the personal experience.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you should definitely direct folks in
Oh,
Penridge, for
yeah. Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because then you can rely on this data. Um,
And I think too, Alex, I want to add, like for this
yeah.
and for the educator one, the reason for doing this, that we put time into this is because we were approached by parents that wanted to do their own survey in their district, or they wanted to survey teachers in their district. And we wanted to create something that was uniform statewide because then as a coalition, we get the data to then take to state at the state level. But then you're able to use it in your local district. And like Alex said, like this works for private, public, charter, not just public school.
Right.
And so that then you have something that's uniform and that is created by a statewide nonprofit versus not to say that like your individual Google form at your district level wouldn't be fantastic, but I know that mine wouldn't be. And we do feel that the output given that the infrastructure comes from the coalition, it just holds a little bit more clout than the few moms that got together and made like the purple Google form. You guys know what I'm talking about. So, and if this is your background, I'm not insulting you, but it's not my background, but Alex has background in this, so we feel again so lucky that she was able to give her expertise to put this together to for us. So, and it's like it works as hard as you want it to work for you. If you can get 200 people in your school to fill it out, like that's an amazing response. I think the most we're like at 100 or so. So, but it's here as a resource.
Great. Yes. I suppose now we wanted to talk about just all of the again, it would be, I think, a little bit too much to kind of go through all the different things we've built, but just like a couple of like the big tools that we've been rolling out recently. So in addition to the survey would be this EdTech advocacy guide, which is like a choose your own adventure style that's trademarked, so we couldn't use it journey to EdTech advocacy. So I really encourage you to check this out if you haven't yet. Again, this, how you would find it is to go to Take Action, EdTech Advocacy, or you could go to Action Center and it's linked on this EdTech Screens in Schools page. So here at the Advocacy Guide. And this kind of just walks you through how to assess what's the current landscape for technology and in the current in the schools where you have kids or you're a community member. And you kind of like you respond to the questions as they're written here. Is your child assigned their own device, for example? Yes. And it kind of gives you a recommendation for how you might want to take action. Does your child bring their device home overnight? You know, you might answer yes. And, you know, again, you can kind of explore, you can change your answer and see what the response would be or recommendation would be depending on your answer. And so just to kind of give you a sense of what happens, I'm going to respond to these so that you can see what happens at the end. And so here you can kind of see a summary of your action items, and there is a way actually to download the guide at the end. And there's a way to draft an email really quickly to your child's teacher, the principal, school board, or even other parents. Um, and just to kind of orient us here, we really advocate for treating this as a collaboration with your local school, starting from a place of partnership, starting with positive intentions and assuming the best, because you know, there have been examples, and I'm sure folks have been seeing the news about, you know, various conversations in our state between parents and school boards that have gotten a little adversarial. And we would always recommend, you know, trying to start from a place of believing, truly believing that schools really do want the best for our kids. And even if we don't necessarily agree with tactics and methods, um, I think I just kind of wanted to like state that for the record. Obviously, some conversations, even in my school district, have gotten heated. And at the same time, we do try to always bring it back to diplomacy and being as gentle and polite as possible because at the end of the day we're all neighbors and we do all really want the best for kids, but at the same time sometimes it's really helpful to have some language to kind of get you started, to say like, okay, I'm feeling like a little bit lost, I don't really know how I want to approach this. So for example, if you just want to start with checking in with your child's teacher, just this can help you to draft an email with some questions about classroom technology use, really based on the guide that we provide above. Okay,
And Alex, just scroll down really quickly. The end of the guide, when you get your results, it also has like some of the top hits in terms of like research and other resources. There's of course more than this, but these are the ones that we really feel are like sort of like, you know, really great ones you can bring with you. Like research studies as well about the, you know, why pencil is better than paper, reading on paper for comprehension, etc. Some stuff in there for kids and brain development. All right, it's 2:30, so I definitely want to get started onto the local group stuff.
great. Let me go back to the other.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just our last thing and then we'll get into it.
Okay. So yeah, those are the things we kind of just walked through. And now
Yeah.
let's talk local. Kristen, take it away.
Great. I will say we have a host of other like things that we have created over the last year. In the recap, I'll make sure that I link to, some of the favorites, just so that you can see the variety of things that we work on that always, again, like ladder back to those operating pillars. Okay, let's talk local because that's why you're here. Okay, so you're here, which means you're you and you care about this. If you can try to find a partner in crime in your town, school, that would be awesome, but you do not need to. It's just always nice to have a friend. Choose a name. As I said before, we are open to any and all groups. If you have heard about the Balance Project or you really love Schools Beyond Screens as like your name and going under them, that's great. We just want all of these local groups to work together and and meet each other. I would definitely become more engaged with national thought leaders, Smartphone Free Childhood, Distraction Free Schools, Schools Beyond Screens, Balance Project. Um, when you do get to a point of like you really want to start something, let us know. There is a CRM platform that has been created by a parent who has been working in this space for a long time. And he has created this, and it is specifically meant for people working on collective action community organizing purposes. And so it's a CRM, so you can put all of your email addresses in there so that you're not just always scrambling with Google Sheets and a Gmail address, et cetera. You can create events in there, you can create petitions in there. And so definitely reach out if you want to schedule like a separate one-on-one consult around that. We are not experts in it, but we are very close with the founder and the guy who is behind all the coding. So definitely recommend it because it's free and it just takes away like dealing with copying and pasting, which is what I did initially, and it's a disaster. So, um, Alex, if we want to go next. Okay. Prep work. So for this, once you have figured out sort of, if you have a friend to do this with, and if you want to even name the group anything, um, the next step is to really identify having a kickoff meeting and picking a location. Sometimes you have to pick the location before you pick your date. We do recommend booking something out like 6 weeks just so that you have time to plan and promote. Local libraries, they're really great because they normally have community rooms that you can reserve for free. Some local libraries really go above and beyond, and they actually even might co-host it with you. It's worth a conversation. In our Google Drive, we have like a letter that you can send to a library seeing if they would co-host it. One of the things that continuously helps, even years later, like 2 years later for my local group, is we're always trying to partner with other groups that have a larger email list than we do that will help us promote events. Um, so if the library is willing to work with you on it, and promote it in their newsletter and hang up a sign and put it on their social media, that's always really helpful. Other thoughts are coffee shops. If you have a wine bar or even a faith-based location, I will say that especially for like a first meeting, um, if you can go somewhere where there's like you can have like some snacks, and if there is an opportunity for people to have beverages, that's an option. I'm not gonna lie, we've definitely had greater attendance at some events when there's a cash bar. I'm not gonna, so just passing that along. So, and then these are really basic. If this is your world and you work, in comms and marketing, this is going to be a no-brainer, but not everybody is. So, obviously you need an event header image, a flyer. If you're going to use four norms, we'll help you set up the RSVP. And then once you figure out how to do this, you also can do it anyhow any way you want. You can do a Google form for RSVP. You don't need to have an RSVP. People can just show up. It is nice to know if you're going to have, a certain amount of people. And then obviously creating the flyer. As I said before, some people have had a lot of, it's really about like connecting with other groups too. So is there a mom's group, sharing it with them? Is there sharing it with friends, asking them to pass it along, seeing if the location will help promote? If you are more involved with your PTA or HSA at the school, definitely seeing if they'll help promote it. We have had people that have had major success with that, and then we've had people that do not have success with that, but it's absolutely worth trying. So once you get all of those things set together, you got your date, your location, and then you start to promote it. Then we get into the actual meeting. So you show up, and we have done, I've also have learned from hosting meetings that were not in this format. And I wish I would have done our group's first meeting like this because then later on we evolved it to this when we helped other groups set up. And it's really great because the goal of the first meeting is for you to introduce yourself, why you're doing this. Um, and then really you want to hear from the people that have attended why they're there and what do they care about and what is their like hot button issue. Um, and you also then want to like this way you'll get to see like what are the age spans of like parents like do they have all little kids? Is it a mixture of K through 12? And what is everybody seeming to like really agree upon? Because like Alex said, these groups are, you know your community and your school district best. And so everybody is going to have different levels of activation, advocacy, and community building. So there's a fantastic smartphone free childhood PSA. I will pass it along in the follow-up email if you haven't seen it. I encourage you to kick off your meeting with that. If you can go to a place that has like a place to do a presentation, it's nice. It also just takes it off so that people have something visual to look at. It's a great conversation starter. We also have a short presentation that you are free to use and copy and edit and make it your own. But it's really just about like setting the stage, the landscape, how did we get here? Just about the research over the last 10 years and youth mental health. And that, we really just want to, that people are there because they want to restore this idea of childhood and move away from the screen-based childhood. And then we do these, and then we encourage breakout groups. And this is normally by age levels. If you can get the big, like white post-it notes and bring some markers and break people into groups, and you ask these questions. And we have all of this agenda, like in a more detailed form that we'll send to you. And it's questions like, why are you here? What do you struggle with? What's something that you want to change in your home? And it gets people talking. And then just like any breakout session, somebody records and somebody shares at the end and everybody shares. And it's really, this is how you identify and see like what people really care about. And then hopefully that will give you, as one of the leads of this, a sense of, finding maybe one or two things that are good goals for the group to work on. Definitely have people sign in. I forgot to put sign in sheet on here. Sign in. We will have that for you. You want to get their name, and all of this will be there. Your name, their school district, the schools, age of kids. And it's also important that if you can, to have a second meeting already planned. And it doesn't need to be immediate. A lot of groups are doing meetings. It just depends on, how busy the leads are. There's no right or wrong answer. But if you have something already planned that you can tell people about so that they know that there's momentum. And I think we can go on, Alex. Okay, so that leads us to maintaining momentum. And this is probably one of the hardest parts of doing this kind of work locally is that there's lots of ways to do it. If you want to send monthly emails, that's great. You can do quarterly events, you can do monthly events. And I will say this, and this is also coming from experience. And I mentioned it earlier when we talked about legislation and policy at the coalition level. There are people that are really into planning community events. And there are people that are really into like getting into the weeds of like going to the school district and advocating for less screens in schools, and they want to get into the policy stuff. And then there are people who love both. Um, I think if you're starting something, keep it light to start, see what the group is talking about. In our group locally, I think we definitely had more energy around like the serious stuff. And I think it kind of, the people that are more fun got bored and they were like, we don't want to be involved in this. And so in hindsight, I probably, there are a few of us that were doing it. We definitely should have focused more on some of like the community building aspect first. But you just have to feel out how your group is. But you can't, I have learned that it's unfair to expect like the people that love like the play date stuff or the parties to necessarily also want to be at the school board meeting. But maybe you'll get lucky and everybody wants to do all of it. So I'm just sharing that like observation and experience. A lot of people ask about like a pledge or like a wait until eighth pledge or a commitment. I don't, I think as a group, like it's not necessary if you want to do it. We've created one. You also could use wait until eighth. That's a great option out there. The infrastructure is set up. I will leave you with this one tidbit though that we learned from the woman who founded the Balance Project, and I found it very helpful. A lot of times, people who maybe will never be one of your most engaged members, they will sign a pledge and they will never show up to anything again because they're like, well, I'm doing this in my family. I'm going to delay smartphones. And then they just stop coming to stuff and they stop engaging. And I thought that was like a really interesting insight. And so she goes, you know, what you really need to do is get people coming back and get them coming back and in the other things that community events that you offer. And then if, you know, people start talking more about a pledge, then maybe you do it. There's no right or wrong way, but I'm just sharing that insight with you. Okay. Unfortunately, because we're all so many people are on social media and it's a great way to create community in an interesting, you know, that's what Facebook originally was, right? So if you want to have a Facebook group or you want to have an Instagram account, totally optional, not necessary. We struggle with this internally and like in our hearts every single day. For the coalition, we're on Instagram because it's how people like we do find people. They find us. But we try our best to be healthy about it. Alex is uses the brick all the time. I have like a separate device with Instagram. So do not feel like you have to be on social media. Um, I'm gonna go through this, you know, we'll send all of this around to you, but here we have, this is what I want to leave you with though. These are all these different ideas for programs and initiatives. You could literally, this is like 2 years worth of meetings that you could have, and there's even other ideas to put into here. But it's playground dates. We have device-free dads doing a rock climbing outing. There's documentary screenings, and they're listed there. Book discussions, partner with a local bookstore. We're doing a summer reading, like back to school pizza party. Doing collaborations with local groups. It's like, does a mom's group have a play date that they set up every month? Like, reach out to them and say, hey, why don't we do like a device-free play date where like everyone leaves their devices in the cars? And I think it's like knowing that there's like these, we always say small changes make big impact. And just something as small as that, as like having everybody experience an hour and a half together at a playground where no one has access to their phones, that's a huge shift. Let's have like a, you know, community unplugged walk and nobody brings their phone on the walk. Like that's a big shift for people to do now. It's small things, and so it doesn't always have to be like a big splashy event. Also, safety presentations. The PA state troopers are doing like a roadblock safety presentation now. The FBI is trying to get in and offer more things in towns. What does your YMCA offer? Anyways, these are just ideas, but I wanted to leave you with a lot of ideas. And then this is our 26, 27 like calendar. We met, but we've been at this for 2 years now. So we met in April and we planned out the year. And this is what my town is doing. We'll see how much of it comes to fruition. I did a lot of delegating this year and it's going to be great, guys. So this is just like for inspiration. But the hope is that, oh, okay, we're gonna take the quick tour. Oh, Alec, yeah, okay. 3 minute quick tour because this is really important, and then we'll have Q&A.
Okay, great. So we showed you guys the website briefly. We showed you guys the take action page, surveys dashboard, advocacy guide. The gift guide is also on our website. So let me just take you briefly back over there so you can see what we're talking about. Want to show you the Google group, and then we'll do a quick Q&A. I want to meet all of you, so we'll save time for that. Okay, back to sharing. All right, I've now lost the Zoom screen. Okay. Okay, so here is our gift guide we released last year. I'm not sure if that's still okay. This is great for all year round. I think maybe this year we'll do some sort of update to it, but we really loved putting this together. This is like the type of thing that yeah, we just really love doing, and please feel free to share this. Because we talked about the commitment, I wanted to show you guys where to find that. This can be used by anyone. You can add you can point people from your community to the PA Unplugged commitment. They can sign it publicly or anonymously. And you can search for a district here. For example, you can find Wallingford Swarthmore folks here. But so that's something you can use. But again, that's completely up to you and optional. And if wait until 8th is a better fit for your community, or you don't want to do a pledge, or you want to do your own thing, that's totally great. Um, I also would be remiss if I didn't show you guys our new and improved tracker. So we have a legislation tracker that kind of shows categorized in all the different issues that we track, like phone-free schools, ed tech, AI, social media, kind of tracks different uh, Pennsylvania legislation, kind of where it is. So you can see phone-free schools, all the different bills, education technology. We don't really have much right now. AI, online safety. So please peruse at your discretion. It does update every day. Um, and then we have also a new and improved bell to bell tracker. So this is Pennsylvania schools going phone free. If you know of any that are not on this list, if you know of any schools in Pennsylvania that have a bell to bell policy in action, take a search, see if it's here. If it's not, please submit it right here. You can actually submit it now and it will appear here, and we would love your help. Um, Again, we hope that by this time next year, this will be completely moot because we will have legislation and it will require all schools to pass this policy. But for now, it is still just a group of 40 schools and districts leading the charge. Okay, so now I want to take you guys to the Google Drive. So when you open your Google Drive, you go to drive.google.com and you click on shared drives over here on the left-hand side. You will see something called PA Unplugged Community. So you see two here because I have two different Google Drives, but the one that you want to focus on is called PA Unplugged Community. So once you click on that, you will see a number of different folders, and please explore all of these, but you probably will want to start with number one, local group. And here you can find things like the guide that we just walked through, the community organizing guide. That was a big piece of this presentation. There's a sample outreach to, for example, maybe you want to write an email to your local library asking if they might want to host your first meeting. There's that outreach in here. There's a chapter leadership guide, which is super helpful from an organization that we're connected to, Mothers Against Media Addiction. Here's an agenda for a sample launch meeting. Going back out. We also have event resources here. The smartphone free childhood parent to parent presentation we talked about, that's here for you. It's really great. It's really great overview. I gave this presentation at my local PTO in January. It went really well, but again, I adapted it a little bit for my own use. So anything in here you have access to download, make a copy of, and edit. You'll have view access, right? So we don't want folks accidentally changing stuff. So anything that you want to adapt, you just make a copy of, put it in your own drive. Event sign-in sheet, bunch of one-pagers here. Like if you have a tabling event, great things you can print out and put in those kind of like plastic, uh, what to call them, display
Yeah,
frames.
like the little plastic picture frames.
Yeah. Um, a tin can phone book is here. This is really awesome. Something you can kind of print out a couple of. We have great one-pagers based on research, the EdTech Triangle. We actually have more one-pagers to add that are recently updated. Um, we also have our logos. If you ever want to put PA Unplugged on, um, on any of the materials you're building. And the other thing that I suppose I should also show you
Yeah.
is, oh, our local group templates. Kristen, do you want to talk about these?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So again, if you decide that you just want to make it super easy and you just want to go with Unplugged, but again, like that is totally up to you. We do not micromanage local groups. We'd love to hear from you and work with you, but we don't tell you what to do. Um, we do have in Canva, and we'll send these links out so that you can access them if you want. You know, we have you can make your own circle logo, your own regular logo, a four norms header for events, and then you just will copy that and update it for whatever event you're doing. And then a flyer is in there as well that you can use for events. And again, this is just to try to make it easy for people. We never want anybody to feel stuck that they can't start something because of something small like this. So if there's something that you feel that you need that doesn't exist or you can't find it, just ask us. We are not going to act like this Google Drive is perfect. It is absolutely not. Also, if you know, some people I know don't use Google Drive very like that often, so it's a little clunky until you get used to it. If you just can't find something, send us a note, we'll send it to you. Or, you know, hey, does this exist? We'll try to put you in the right direction. Um, but we want just to make this as like low activation energy as possible. Obviously, everybody still has to do the work, but we want to be here to help. So that was like the main stuff. This was we always leave less time than we want to. But anyways, questions, if you want to tell us where you're from. Joe, Lee, we know you, so you guys don't get to talk first.
Oh, rats.
But welcome to the others. Yeah, hey
Yeah,
I
Meredith.
can
Meredith, go
go.
ahead.
Hi, I'm Meredith. Alex, I'm also a Bucknellian.
You
Um,
are? Oh my gosh.
yes, and I
Whoa.
think you know Emily Fry. So she was like, when
Yeah.
I told her we were starting to, I'm in Phoenixville, by the way. I told her we were starting this. She goes, "Oh, like I think Alex is really involved." And then I reached out to Alaire. I'm like, "I can connect you with Alex." She goes, "Oh, we're already BFFs. Like, don't worry." So that's when I was kind of like, oh, there's a lot going on that I don't know about because obviously Alaire and Elena kind of run the show in Phoenixville. They're amazing. I don't quite have the bandwidth to, do what they're doing, and I'm so grateful to them. But I try to support as much as I can. I've spoken at all the school board meetings. I've showed up, I've helped them, so but that's why I really appreciate this call because it really helps me kind of to understand the whole ecosystem about like I've seen the Balance Project, I've seen um, all the other groups, and I'm SFC, and I'm like, well, how do all these work together? Like, are we all on the same page or not? So this is really helpful. And I've given Alaire a few ideas, and she's brought to the table a lot. So she's been really helpful. Catherine, and one thing I also wanted to mention, I really enjoy that this has also been like a great way to vet other families. We've only lived in Phoenixville for a year, and I actually met Catherine, who's also on the call, because her son invited my son to his birthday party. So then I met Catherine that way, and then she got involved in this, and I was like, well, I know I already like her, right? So here we go. So, and we're just finishing up kindergarten in Phoenixville, so we're new to the show. We never had iPads at home. My kids have a VCR actually.
That
They love it.
rocks.
But it was mind blowing how much they use the iPad, and it was a little disappointing, but I know obviously it's not a Phoenixville issue. It's, and that's what I tried to, when I talked to other families, I was like, guys, this is not a Phoenixville issue. Like it's an everywhere issue. It's not like, but anyways.
Oh
Oh,
my
you're
gosh. Well, it's so
welcome.
great to meet you. See, Kristen, someone else offended by the "We Are Penn State" joke. Like,
It was a bad joke. I told you it was a bad joke. I'm not like I
no,
told you, I'm not even like I don't even know they were in the Rose Bowl whatever years ago, and I was like, what, really? I didn't even know. So don't worry. Sarah or Kathy, do you guys want to? I know you're off screen, but we'd love to meet you if you're open to
no
popping
pressure
on,
though.
but no
But if you're
pressure.
there and want to say hi,
Hi, this is Sarah.
Hi.
hi.
I'm so happy to be on the call. And I actually, admittedly, found you all through an Instagram post and a comment. So
Great.
the recent, um, I'm from Pittsburgh, sorry, and I have an 8-year-old son. We are not in a public school system. He attends private school. It's been very interesting. He just finished second grade, and it's been interesting to see Um, the usage of tech in his classroom, it seems very teacher to teacher. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of cohesiveness, because in first grade there was access, but it was really limited and barely used, and it wasn't even a blip on the radar. This year, it was so much so that I found it actually affecting just his overall well-being and his attitude towards screens when he was home. And like Meredith said, we're not really iPad people. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he just doesn't really care about it until this year, because he was getting it so much at school. He didn't understand the boundary because, well, it's at school, so it must be fine. It's been very difficult to combat that. And I'm just starting to see that. And so I was really interested to know just how you all are kind of operating. These resources are just incredible. And I've been able to speak to a lot of parents within our school that share my sentiments, but I definitely feel like it's something that no one seems to really be talking about. No one's really taking a lead on. We're all just kind of like, oh, accepting that this is okay. And I'm just not one of those people. So sorry for that.
You're not
But
either, Sarah.
You
You're not
found your
either.
people, Sarah. Do you mind me asking where your kids go to school?
sure, he attends Ave Maria Academy. It's in Bethel Park
Yeah.
in the
Okay.
South
Oh,
Village.
I think we emailed,
I
right?
think we did. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I remember the name. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
you're in the right place. I mean, definitely, like as much as you can join, I will say, like, I know Thursdays at 1 is a hard time for a lot of people, but it's also we try to do stuff at night and less people showed up, and so we just went back to the day. We do a lot of our like sharing and ideating there, and I think are all of you already in the Google group? Do you get like the emails, the advocate? Did you get any of
I
that?
don't
Okay,
think
we'll make
so.
sure that
We'll
your
make sure
names
you're in
are
there.
added.
Okay.
We're gonna add everybody from the RSVP list. There's like a storm going through my part of Pittsburgh right now. It's like one of
Oh,
these. It'll head your way next,
yeah,
Sarah.
right.
So we'll make sure that, we'll add all of those. I just think, anything that I can do, and I say me because I'm on your side of the state,
Yeah, right.
let me know. If you want to just have like a larger conversation. I do think though, it's like finding just those few parents that will help you start to just have conversations, meeting with the principal. The lack of consistency is something that a lot of parents are concerned about.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Um,
it can start with you and another parent, right? Every single group starts with just like two people, and then like
Sure.
another person finds out. And so like don't let that stop you. We've all of us are here on this call. I'm sure at some point we're like, am I the only one who cares about this? You realize you're not
Right. Yeah,
alone.
I
no.
appreciate it. And, and it is interesting to try, you want to try to kind of like find your people because not everybody shares the sentiment, right? And so I find myself, on the soccer field trying to put the feelers out, like who can I, who can
Yeah.
who will be an advocate about this with me. But I actually do feel there's a lot of support in our school specifically, in definitely the K through 3, but also some of the older parents are really wanting the phones completely gone. So we are definitely in a space where both issues are affecting the families a little bit differently. Like my son doesn't even have a phone, obviously, but like knowing that is potentially the future. I, even though it's not affecting me right now, you still see the merit in wanting to make that change with some of the parents of older children as well. So yeah, I'm definitely getting the group together. So I appreciate your leadership, and Kristen, definitely hope to connect with you moving
Yeah.
forward.
And Sarah, if you want to like work on getting a meeting scheduled,
Okay.
since you're local, like no, I mean like doing something larger in your community.
Okay.
We started the Pittsburgh Public Group. I did that. I'll come out and I'll work
Oh,
with
I
you on
love
that
that.
first
Okay.
meeting. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's daunting. So we started Mount Lebanon Unplugged. Sorry,
Okay.
Upper St. Clair, Mount Lebanon. We did a meeting in Gibsonia. It kind of fell flat, but
Okay.
that was more the person just kind of didn't want to do it anymore. So, and
Oh,
then Montour is going to start something, so
Okay.
we have like more energy happening here, which is good.
Yeah.
And
Oh, great.
Kathy, I'd love to hear from you because I know we're at like 3:03, so I want to be mindful.
Hi. Um, Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. This is such an important issue. Um, I'm actually very lucky uh, to have found a school for my child for another year. So he is 12 and a half. He's graduating sixth grade, going into seventh grade. It's a very small school. I'm in Philadelphia, Mount Airy,
Oh,
Chestnut
nice.
Hill. He goes to a school in Bryn Mawr, Rosemont. It's called Mainline Classical Academy. It's tiny.
Oh,
It
Yeah.
is,
yeah, we heard
yeah,
from them.
okay. Yeah, they're very
Yeah.
big. They use paper and pencils. They are no screens. I mean, they have a programming class.
Mhm.
I think when they get to sixth grade this year, my son had to type like a paper, but first you have to do it in handwritten. Um, so I'm here, because I think it's such an important issue. I'm fortunate to be in a school right now where we all sign a contract saying no screens, no smartphones. Sorry, not no screens, no smartphones, no social media until maybe eighth grade, and then like limited screen time. We're all kind of in the same, of the same mind that it's not helpful. So again, just been really lucky because I understand that you got to do it in community. If you're going to a school where everybody else's kid is doing the thing, then you're basically just saddling your child with a different set of issues. Um, and I will say we were shopping schools for next year, this year. So when you're going around and you're going to these schools, you definitely realize how much screens are coming in. And oddly, how difficult it is for admin, even though everyone kind of agrees that this is not helpful for kids to have phones in schools, it's not good socially, it's not good for a million reasons. What we heard from admin, because it was like one of the first questions I'd ask, is some parents, like for safety, really want their kids to have phones. It's like that was the real big stumbling block. I'm talking about private schools.
Well,
Public
right
schools,
now,
I know, is a
private
different
schools
issue.
are included in the legislation. So
Okay,
we don't
good.
know what's going to
Interesting. We
You
happen,
don't
but
know,
know,
like
but yeah.
there's a
I
chance that it might squeak through.
I think the admin would be very glad for the decision not to come down on them because everybody says the same thing. Like, yes, we don't. It's not helpful. We don't want them. It causes problems. Blah blah blah. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's not helpful. I mean, I don't know about computers, using computers and iPads in classrooms. Maybe they're not so much against that, but they certainly don't see the benefit of the kids having their actual phones in class in their lockers, whatever. So they're slowly moving, but we heard they have a lot of pushback from parents. Um, yeah, I feel like I encounter people in two groups. One is like, oh my God, I hate this. I wish it could go away. I wish we would all, somebody's waiting for somebody else to make a decision or something. I don't know, but I'd say like 80% of people I talk to don't think it's good for their kids. And then the other small or maybe large contingent is just the safety issue. It's like, well, what if I need to get in touch with my kid at school? And you're like, well, what did we do in the 80s? I
In the
mean, you call
80s,
the school.
what did we do in like 2010?
Right.
Like, I
Earlier.
know what you mean though. It's like it wasn't that long ago that,
I mean,
yeah.
Well, it's really good that we're really glad that you're here. We do have a little Mount Airy contingent.
do
Uh,
we? Oh, great. Yeah, that would be great. Because
Folks in a lot of
like-minded,
different schools. We have folks in the school district of Philadelphia who are in Mount Airy. We have folks who are at
awesome.
Springside, Chestnut Hill Academy in Mount Airy. Like it's like, but I think there was a little like meetup that happened at that
Oh,
coffee
great.
shop in Mount Airy like over the winter.
Oh,
I
that'd
would
be
love to
great.
connect you with those
Yeah, I
folks
would love that. I
if
would
you'd
love
like
that.
to.
Yeah.
There's a group, I think the group is like Hold the Smartphone.
Okay.
And so I can just get you on an email with them so that you guys can all like chat.
Yeah, that would be great.
But it's really great to meet someone who has a child at Mainline Classical. We've been really curious about the experience. They did reach out to us to let us know, like they'd be happy to do some sort of like presentation, which we honestly would love to take them up on, but
Yeah,
it hasn't
I
happened.
I
Um,
threw out on the family thread like they're yesterday. Oh, there's the workshop tomorrow at 2 o'clock from PA Unplugged. Anybody want
Oh,
to join?
awesome.
Maybe you'll get a couple people tonight. It's like graduation tomorrow, and I'm
Of
sure people
course,
are
it's
all
a
maxed
crazy
out.
time.
But the school is 100% in line with, the ethos, and they're doing a great job. And again, like, it's really a lot of I feel like it's great academics, but the only other reason that we all go there is because of this contract that we all signed that, we're not going to give our kids phones until they're in 8th grade.
Which is really
It's a game
So,
changer.
Catherine,
Yeah.
you're also in Phoenixville?
No,
In
I am
fact-
in Philadelphia. Oh, sorry. Are you talking to me?
Oh, Catherine, yeah.
Oh,
I
oh,
was,
we have it. Oh, you're in Phoenixville, Catherine?
Yes.
Yeah.
gosh. Look at all of Alaire, all you people from the same
Yeah, totally.
school.
I'm like just riding their coattails. I didn't know that you had all this, which is so awesome if you're starting from scratch. But I feel like she
Oh
and
yeah, Alaire is amazing.
Elena
Yeah.
have like made so much headway. Like
Do
with
you
our
have
school
a school
district
board
already.
member, by the way, who is part of your group?
Not officially.
Okay.
Yes, he
Who's very
so
sympathetic
A
and
mole.
helps, but
well,
maybe not.
I think his wife is on our email list. So he's clearly like invested. He has, I think, two kids, not quite in this, like younger, not quite in the school system. So he clearly feels very strongly about it. Um,
I'm in your Facebook group. Kristen and I try to like join a lot of the groups.
yeah, yeah.
So I like see someone named Dan like post.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's definitely
Yeah.
greasing the wheels from
Okay.
the perspective of he wants us to know the school board schedule. He wants us to know when to come. He wants us to, but he, to be fair, he's not just doing that for us. Like I've seen him on Reddit. I've seen him trying to increase engagement and stuff like that. But
He's in like the running group.
Okay.
He's in a lot of like local controversy.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Got it.
Yeah, he's great. But I also don't want it to make it sound like, he is I don't want him to like taint, I guess, our efforts. Does that make sense that like we have too much involvement from him? Yeah, but it's pretty clear that he's invested, I think.
I mean, it's a good thing. Like I understand exactly what you're saying, but it's a good thing to like have someone who's yeah. I mean, I'll be an optimist on that. But I was just curious. I was kind of like,
I think it's like there's it's so clear that we have their attention, and I think it's just like what's it going to result in for next school year. That's what I feel like I
know
how quickly we're moving in that regard, or they're listening, but it's like, what are we?
Yeah, it's interesting, and I'd like to hear your guys' feedback on this. But I feel like we went from 0 to 60 pretty quickly in Phoenixville, because I remember I'm actually on the schools or the elementary schools HSA as well, and Alaire and Elena were coming to all of our meetings. And then one time she just mentioned, she goes, "Oh, I think I'm going to start like a Phoenixville Wait Until 8th club," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, amazing! Sign me up." But that's kind of how she brought it up, and unfortunately, like I've tried on the HSA side to do stuff, and they're pretty quick to shoot it down. There's actually a couple of us on the HSA board that are involved here, but anyways, so but then I just feel like we went to the school board right away, and that's good, right? But yeah, so now we're kind of like trying to backtrack a little bit and try to build a little bit more community, so it's not just. Sorry, Lee, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, you know what, Meredith, I have to go, guys, because Jake turned into no, Alex will stay. I'm not ending the call because I think any chat is good. But so Sarah, we'll connect again. Kathy, it's so great to meet you. Yay, Phoenixville, you guys rock. Lee, I know you. But what I want to just leave with is we'll send all of this stuff in a recap sometime this weekend. It's not going to be today. I'm sorry. Some other stuff kind of happened today that set me back. We're still easing into summer break and what that looks like. But I want to say, like, and Alaire knows this, like, and you guys know this, like, it doesn't all happen overnight. And I've had so many moments where, like, my local efforts, I'm like, this, like, is just, no one cares. I'm the only one that cares. I'm the only one that cares. But that's why the coalition has been so important, because I've met all these people across.
oh no.
It's her storm.
It's the storm.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I know what she was going to say. Like you, even if like we have really committed folks joining, and it's very inspiring every week to hear from them. Please join us if you can. Like it's not like you send a representative from your group and like you're good.
Mhm.
We want 50 people from Phoenixville to join if they want to. You know what I mean? Like we want everyone to feel fired up and kind of be there and share in the energy. Um, so I think just to give you a little bit of feedback, Meredith, I think that's a really good approach. Again, sometimes I think you can kind of almost sense like, did we go a little bit too hard at the school board? Do we need to kind of like, do we need to do a little, do we need to take a step back and strategize? And I think your intuition there is probably great. It's good to go to the school board and show them that you care and get their attention. And then now kind of figuring out, how do we want to regroup and what's our strategy? Showing them that you're not going to go away, but also showing them that you're a legitimate partner to be not just to be dealt with, but to speak with and collaborate with. That's the
Yeah.
goal. Um,
Yeah.
so I just really, I'm so happy you're here. And I hope that you keep coming back. And Lee, I'm sorry, you've had your hand raised like forever. Please, like introduce yourself to the group,
Right. And no, I'll be
and
quick. I'm going to jump off
yeah.
quick, but I never heard people refer to themselves as Bucknellians. That was great.
Oh yeah, Bucknellians,
Now,
Lee, that's what we are.
well, Bucknell was the first place in my life I ever smoked marijuana. So that's big,
It
big,
tracks.
big. That was
Same.
1974. And I swore I was going to hell because I had this complete commitment I would never smoke weed. And then
Oh no,
somebody
it
took me
corrupts us all.
somebody took me to Bucknell and it was all downhill after there. Anyway, Alex, I am always amazed at what you had others have done as volunteers. It's a
Yeah.
phenomenal lift that all the tools you've built and all the easy things that are replicated and able to be used. I'll share some more of my comments for you, Alex. We have a call on Monday. I just want to quick suggest that you try to get a link to the PA survey with
Yes.
those questions. That was 260,000 students. First time we've ever asked Pennsylvania students about their screen use, as far as I know, on that level. The screen phone free, let me just pull it up here.
So yeah, look, guys, Lee is talking about the PA Youth Survey.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
If
Oh, by
you're
the way, I
familiar
live in
with that.
Bucks County. I live in Upper Bucks County, so yeah, I've been involved for a bit of time here. Yeah, so yeah, I really love this work because this is what I did for many decades. Coalition work. I'm retired, but I spent a lot of years. Alex knows my background. Anyway, I think coalitions are the key, and I really love that you're expanding your footprint, so to speak, beyond phones. I know you've always had, but it's more articulated now about ed tech writ large. And it's a much larger effort. And that's why I wanted to ask you the initial slides with your mission and vision. Um, we could talk Monday, Alex, but I wanted to see if I could use some of that language in my local group. My most important question is the bell-to-bell tracker. You have 39 schools here, sorted out by those that use Yonler pouches, shared in lockers, collected. So if you had to pick one of these 39, I may have asked you this before, but now that Bucks County is pushing money, local money, our county commissioners, Meredith, and who else is on here? Kathy, our county commissioners contributed $32,000 uh, to schools, $2,000 to each school district that works on their bell-to-bell policy or parent education. So the effort's going to be talked about. It'll be shared among the Commonwealth counties, but I want to find a school district, if I can, this summer that truly has a bell-to-bell K-12 that I can talk to see how it's gone. Because a lot of people say, how's it going to be executed? Do we need to buy Yonler pouches? Do you have, Alex, one district out of those 39 in Pennsylvania that you feel is a real model of bell-to-bell K-12?
Well, that's kind of a tough one, Lee, because I do, but they don't use a best practice. Like the best practice, according to Angela Duckworth, which would be like removing the phone from the child, storing it in an alternate location for the whole day and giving it back to them at the end of the day. I would say that in terms of like a school culture and like administrator and school building leader buy-in, like Derry Township and Hershey is an excellent example of just they bought into this and they take it very seriously, but they don't they let the kids kind of like, it's like a
Have,
don't ask,
oh,
don't tell. Like they let them keep them
yeah,
in
yeah.
packs if they want. They just, you cannot see it or you get a detention. They take it very, very seriously in terms of discipline, but they don't remove. So like the temptation is still there. And the students we spoke with, we actually went to Derry and interviewed them.
Oh,
The
great.
students we spoke with, they were like, yeah, the temptation's there sometimes. So like we had to deal with that, but the culture in the school is such that everyone knows you cannot pull it out or you will get a detention. So that's my caveat. I love them. The superintendent is wonderful, and so is the building principal. Um, but I mean, you could talk to, we have contacts in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia who they take a radical approach of like phones cannot enter the building. Like they either need to be collected by an administrator or students, or they have like a metal detector and students cannot have them. So that's a different school environment perhaps than you have in Penridge. Um, and then there's the yonder approach, which many schools take as well. Probably like the middle of the ground approach, where schools are not taking possession of the phones, but you're also preventing kids from accessing them during the day. And we have connections with quite a few yonder schools too. And I
Okay.
know that's something that Central Bucks is potentially considering.
All right. So Derry Township, the school in Philadelphia, you have one here in Philly called Olney. Is that the one you're referring to?
Olney, Kensington, we know Jose LeBron, who is the principal of Kensington. We spoke with him for like an hour. He's extremely inspiring. There was actually an article written about how kids were storing their phones at the bodega, at the bodega down the block because they were not allowed to enter the building, and they would have to like pay $1 to to the bodega shop owner to store their phones. But yeah, they take the radical approach of just not allowing them in the building at all.
That's
And then there's quite a few yonder schools in Philly too. We have a good relationship with the folks at Mariana Brachetti. Um, and that's a charter school in Philly, and they use Yonder there to, and they speak of it very, very positively. So I'm happy to connect you with all of those folks, or just send you. I can send you clips of interviews. We recorded all those interviews. We're actually in the process of cutting together like a short film.
okay.
Film is a term. I don't know, but a short video.
Yeah. My only other suggestion is on your website. I don't know if you had a link to for people to donate money yet or not. Did I see that on the
We
website?
do. Yeah, we do. It's in its
I'm missing
it's
that.
a little pink button on our website. On our website in the corner. We haven't done our Kristen and I are getting ready to do our big like end of year we were waiting for the bill. We were waiting to
Okay.
see what was going to happen with Bill. We're going to do like our big end of year like little grassroots fundraising push, but again,
That's
it's like the last thing on our list. We're like,
yeah.
but
Last thing I have is June 22nd. You have a workshop, or I don't know if you're going to the Pennsylvania School Resource Officers.
in
So
Lancaster, yes.
they did not have a link to just come for one day. So I asked them, can you make an exception? I'm not going to come for the whole 3 days. And they said, you can come for one day. So they now have carved out a 1 day fee.
Oh,
You want to push that out to your membership or your contacts that people can come and hear your workshop on that day. Because I think you're having a dinner that night, June 22nd. Those that attend and want to meet.
yeah. And also
Great.
anyone can just come to Lancaster, for our folks, you guys are
Yeah.
both in the area where we are
Yeah.
presenting at this PASRO conference. It's the PA Resource Officers Association. So we're giving a talk that afternoon on Monday the 22nd. And then so if you want to come, as Lee is saying, you can. You can also come help out at the table earlier in the day, and then you wouldn't have to pay. And then, or you can just come for dinner that evening. We're going to do like a casual meetup at a brewery. Anyone can come. We're hoping we'll see people
But
there,
I
but we'll
think
send
if
out
you,
information next week.
but I think if I want to come to the workshop, I have to pay a fee.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk to you Monday. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Hey, folks, good to meet you.
It's good to see you, Lee.
Bye.
Good to
Thank
meet
you.
you, Meredith and Kathy. I hope to see you guys again soon. We'll
Sure.
follow up with an email with a bunch of links, and
Perfect.
you let us know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye.